Hi, good morning. I'm deeply conscious of the fact that we are running a little late. But I must say something because Alice prompted me to say this. She cutely declared she's 50 and she was conscious of the fact that others are 25. But Alice, you look 35. I just want you to correct. So, and I'm referring to the context, and again in lighter vein, when I was coming in with Suhas, they stopped me and they said, "Kahan ja rahe?" And I said, GOY. And he says, "There's Y word. You're not qualified for Y." And I said, "No, but I've been invited." The organizers, Anuja and others, had said, "Sir, there's a GOYN norm which says the average age of people on the dais has to be less than a certain number." So and she said, "You're completely disturbing that norm." So first they said they're going to bring one person, Poorva, you, onto that thing. I said, "Okay, please do that." Then they said, "Sir, we can't even deceit your age. You look as old as you are." So the average is still not coming through. So they wanted one more young man. So we have on the panel 3 wonderful, experienced people who will be sharing their, in line with what's been talked earlier about what are the opportunities. And we're looking at you, my offsets. I'm using you as my offsets to ask questions and be nice to me. Ask them, don't ask me questions. Yeah, okay. Okay, now to come to the flow that we want to do, and this is what I've discussed with the organizers. I'll do my context setting. I have to say something for 5 minutes. Incidentally, my meter started when I started speaking. Jokes were included in that 5 to 6 minutes. I'll spend not more than that. After that, I'm going to request my 3 learned panelists, 7 to 8 minutes each, to give their perspective, their journey as relevant to you, giving you a roadmap of what are the opportunities. So that's 25 minutes with 3 of them, my 5 minutes. I've been allocated 50 minutes, and I promise we won't exceed that. And the best way to ensure that is to put the last item as audience questions, so they decide how long they want to continue. So after that, we'll have about 5 to 7 minutes of questions from both of you to them, and then we'll leave it to the audience. Does that seem all right? Yeah, so we will flow with this in terms of the thing. That is 5 plus 25 plus 10 and 50, and I'm almost looking like an accountant counting minutes. But then sometimes it's very easy to get flow in the matter. So now context setting. I looked at, this thing, our theme for today, and I was trying to pick the right word. There's a whole lot of words. Global Opportunity Youth Network, building livelihood pathways for an exciting future. Lots of powerful words. So we can't pick up all of them. So I thought I'll just pick up 4 words out of these things. What are the 4 words I picked up? Global, future, one cluster. That means space and time. Who are we looking at? Future. And everybody says future is now, so I think you've changed the definition of what future is. I heard future is now. So I'll just stay confused. So and global, yes. And I think my second cluster is on what and how. My context setting, and of course they'll fill up the details. The 2 words I picked up is livelihood and pathways. So friends, on these 2, first space and time, and second what and how, for these 2 I'm going to make 2 points each. So 2 by 2, total 4 points I'll make, as very easy for moderator to put the skeleton and ask the energetic people to fit in the flesh, which you will do. So I'll just leave it here. I'm not talking about youth and networking and opportunities because this whole place is all about youth. So I'm just going to be doing. So let me quickly come to, in context setting, about what I mean in space and time, global and future. The 2 points I want to make, and I don't think it's anything new for any one of you. Every time you meet, I've seen it many, many years, don't ask me how many. Everybody says times are changing, technology is going to change our lives, social system is changing. We've heard that all the time. I haven't said anybody set up and said there are steady times. The times are never steady. However, I say this at the evening of my life, that the transformation that technology is bringing into our lives is a step function. Normally it's evolution. In the last few years and the next few years, there's a step function, exponential change in that technology bringing into life. So we need to be conscious of the fact that technology, which was supposed to be an enabler, our co-pilot at best, our support thing, has become the pilot. It is technology which is driving what, the Aladdin and the jinn, we used to rub the lamp and a jinn would come and you command. Today the jinn has become the Aladdin. The technology is driving every single thing. They have become the boss. So we must be aware of that a lot of things are being driven. So, and technology is moved into an auto mode. And I'm not giving a talk on technology, but I'm just saying for you, when you want to plan, when you want to look at, be aware that there is a big brother called technology, which might increase your prospects, might mess up your plans, because technology transformation, it cuts across geography. It doesn't allow manual intervention. Nobody can stop AI today. Try what you do with your regulation, nothing will happen. It's demographically distributed across, it's not for youngsters, everything. So while technology is the driving force, we need to understand there's a second force, and I just want to talk, my second marker here is what we're feeling in day-to-day human dynamics. I think the society, both at work, both at home, we have become very much more transactional. We're looking at short-term, we're looking at transactions, we're looking at long-term, we'll see later. Our aspirations, impact of awareness due to technology again, we're restless, we're uneasy. We don't want to talk about, don't tell me what I want to. I still have interviews of people, etc. They said, tell us about what we're going to do in the next 2-3 years. Hire to retire as a concept is becoming irrelevant. This is an across, so this is, and this is happening in our personal life, social life, family life, we're getting a lot more. So 2 factors just to keep in mind, which are really, 1, technology becoming the boss globally. Second, human values, human things. So we've really, a brave new world has arrived, much more braver now, which is boundaryless, which is technology-driven, which is transactional, which is aspirational, which is also led to rise in inequality. While technology makes it more inclusive, today a lot of things, everybody has a cell phone, so you know what's happening in the world, you connected. But technology also increased inequalities. And it's also led to fading of old values. Very quickly, my last 2 minutes. So what does that mean in terms of opportunities, keeping in mind the overall shadow of technology and human values? What you want to do and how you want to do are the 2 questions. What you want to do, my God, happy with we people when we had 2, 3, 4 tracks. Now today you have a highway where you can't even count the number of lanes on that highway. The opportunities are increasing, you guys are aware of it, and they're going. It's like you go to a dispensing machine, you get 2 or 3 choices to which thing you can pick up. You go to a small store, you get 10 choices. You go to a supermarket, you get 50 choices. You go to a mall, 5,000. Life has become like a supermarket. The options are so many. When there's so many options happening, while it increases the opportunity, it also confuses the hell out of you. You are not able to figure out quite often because of the things. So just be aware that while opportunities are increasing, the opportunities are also going to be demanding on you in terms of excellence, in terms of pursuit, and some keeping your feet grounded. Today's environment says, he's doing this, she's doing this, and he's done so much. So I think the aspiration is fine. Looking at everybody else you come to know, just keep your feet on the ground is my old man's advice. And the last, how. How has also changed in addition to why. Some of the Pune people would remember their parents going to Tata motor bus, working 9 to 5. We all got used to going to a place of work with a defined things, defined role, defined scope. Today you see relationship at work environment by technology also. You don't have to go to work. Sometimes you go to work on a part-time. So the whole partnership model has come in. To conclude, my friends, there are opportunities, stay tuned. There is a career for you, stay focused. And there are relationship changes in how you want to go. Luckily, this thing talked about livelihood. It didn't talk about jobs, thank God. Livelihood, stay tuned, stay focused, and also keep in mind that somewhere in this journey, while short-term is what you can see, future is now, but there is a future also, for which you need to somewhere invest in terms of your things. So that's where, so you guys are all in a hub, like a big railway station, lots of trains going all over, or a integrated bus terminal where you have lots of choices. Choose the right track, choose the right vehicle, and just move on with that thing. So with this generic things, may I first request Uma to give your thoughts. Uma has described wonderful thing, but one of the things she's doing is on green jobs. So maybe you can talk about that opportunities, whatever thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pradeep. So it's fantastic to be part of this convening. It has been very energizing, inspirational, impactful yesterday and this morning as well, listening to various speakers and also the young people from Lighthouse Communities Foundation and from other parts of the world. So welcome all of you, especially who have come from other parts of the world, to our wonderful city. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank GOYN to have given me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful initiative and get to know not only people, but also connect with the aspirations, their dreams, their mission, and also share some perspective, have an opportunity to share some of my perspectives in this dialogue. Pradeep has asked me to share with you a little bit about what has been the journey, what do I see as the opportunities for the youth worldwide. I have, just as Pradeep was mentioning a little while ago about whether age counts and whether, you know, the appropriateness of people like me to be part of this discussion, I'm just reminded. No, I was just reminded of the fact that, you know, when I was trying to count how many years I have been associated with the skilling, the training, the employability journey, particularly, and I was just telling myself it has been almost 35 years. And so when did I begin this journey? I began this journey at the age of almost 25. And that is the, probably the average age of most participants of GOYN. That's your age. So maybe I'm dated in that sense. But yes, I began this journey, and I was very fortunate and privileged to be able to contribute, to be able to participate, and have a ringside view and develop learnings, and I continue to develop insights in terms of what careers could mean to young people and how their careers could get shaped or have got shaped over the years. In the 80s and right up to the 90s, that decade that I initially had the opportunity to look at career journeys, it is very interesting that at that point of time, the whole discussion around careers was limited only to those people who were already in colleges. And they were the ones who were looking at how could they develop themselves better. And in India in particular at that point of time, computers were at a very nascent stage. And they would therefore try to equip themselves, and particularly to make their biodata look good by joining some computer program, some computer course they would do. And it was very interesting to find that in the newspaper advertisements those days, when the boys or girls were looking to get married, and that you know, for those of you not very familiar in India, it's the arranged marriage, which used to be very popular. It continues to be so even now, but in the 80s, 90s, right up to until about 20 years ago, it is predominantly arranged marriages which brought the boy and girl together. And in most of these advertisements, you would find a little line saying, also have a computer diploma from some computer institute. Today, we might be laughing at it, but those days, parents would feel that, okay, if I'm going to get this boy or girl married to someone who has a qualification in computers, maybe their life is made. So as a result of this kind of an aspiration, which was so different at that point of time, there were families and individuals who would rob a bank and pay 50,000 rupees or 100,000 rupees, which was a huge amount of money even then, to get themselves this additional qualification to find a job. And those jobs would be typically working in a bank or working in a small computer software company or a hardware company. And that's how the journey for many of them started. But come 90s, this whole requirement for programmers started ballooning. It started off initially with what is known as body shopping in the US and Western world in particular. But slowly with the problem of Y2K, which had to be solved, a lot of companies started looking at India for providing that support from India. And that's how the requirement for programmers started getting momentum. And by the time we went into the new century, 2000, right up to 2010, you can say, the digital boom really started taking shape. And with this digital revolution, we started looking at a lot of opportunities for people who could work with content, who could work with internet technologies, who could use some of these technologies in other domains, financial domain, in the manufacturing domain, and so on and so forth. 2010 onwards, we started seeing a very different kind of a scenario. Pradeep alluded to technology, and every business, small, big, large, cottage industry, could not be left behind in terms of use of that technology to better themselves. So as a result of this, we started hearing and experiencing not only very, very large sized businesses trying to get businesses, processes, IT requirements outsourced to India in a number of different ways, whether it was to do with business intelligence, packaged software, ERP implementation, and of course, the early days of augmented reality. Sorry? Yeah, sure. And all of these started showing that there is a huge opportunity for individuals to look at their careers from a very, very different perspective. And today we are looking at their aspirations in terms of new jobs in the context of AI. And when we talk about AI and we look at the years ahead of us, there is also this concern about whether the jobs will go away. There is now an estimate McKinsey has put out that 375 million new jobs are going to get created. And out of those, globally, at least 50 million will be in the EV sector, the electric vehicle sector. And we at GDT Foundation have already set up 17 such centers, and we are partnering with Accenture and GOYN to see how this could be scaled even further. And in addition to this, some of the traditional jobs will continue to remain. Engineering, accounting, caregiving, these jobs will remain. But what is going to be another two very interesting areas to look at will be the number of elders that we will have in the society. World over, we are going to have more people, like close to about 1.2 billion people by 2030, who will require a different set of services. In India alone, we are having close to about 150 million people who are seniors by 2030, and by 2050, this will be double, which will be close to 350 million people. So that kind of a size is going to create humongous opportunities. And the last area that I would like to highlight is the fact that there are a number of jobs that we perform which are today, which do not carry any value. What we call as work that we do out of home, out of passion, desire, out of our own commitment. So these jobs like gardening, like cooking, like taking care of children and so on, it is expected that these jobs will get marketized. And as a result of that, today, not more than 1.2% of these jobs are performed by men, and highly qualified women, to the tune of 27% of these jobs are, 27% of women are taking care of these jobs. So these jobs will also get marketized, and that will create another fantastic opportunity for all of us to think of. So to summarize, technology will create new jobs. Current jobs like accounting and so on and so forth, engineering will continue, and there will be new opportunities to take care of seniors in the green areas, and of course, marketizing the home-based opportunities. Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you, sorry for things. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think lovely things Uma brought, that career which yesteryears used to be after college, you youngsters are starting out. Computer, which was a premium job, is a license to any job today. Knowledge of computers clearly emerging. And I think what's reassuring is AI, which looks like was stealing jobs, is going to give jobs. And I feel good that oldies will, like me, will give jobs to people, so I'm not feeling so guilty anymore. Thank you so much, Uma, for this. So next, I'm going to request Suhas. Suhas is a person who has done both Click and the Brick. He's worked for manufacturing and services. He's done global as well as now is working in the rural space, and I noticed a lot of conversation rural. So Suhas has got a 360 degree perspective. Suhas, do share about your journey and how these youngsters can get a message out of it. Thank you, Suhas.
Thank you so much,
and your
Pradeep.
time starts now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think, what I saw in this room was a combination of phenomenal energy, diversity, and youth. And really, really excited to speak to this group of people. I'm going to talk about rural circular economy. And in the process, for some of you, I would introduce you to an industry called green fuels or bioenergy. A lot of people ask me a question, what is bioenergy? And I said, well, anything and everything which comes out of organic matter and gets converted to energy is bioenergy. Now, why does it become relevant today? And I was standing in a field a month back in a place called Barabanki in Uttar Pradesh, and somebody asked me, what do you make out of this? And I said, look, this 1 acre of land that I am standing on is a rice paddy field where harvesting is completed and there is standing stubble. This 1 acre of standing stubble can produce fuel equivalent to a journey from Delhi to Kanyakumari. That's 2,500 kilometer distance, and this stubble is capable of creating that quantity of fuel. Now, if that's the transformation that you are wanting to bring in, that's the new energy that you are wanting to bring in, and that's the rural economic activity that you are wanting to bring in, it means so much for the type of jobs that you would create in the next 25 years. Something similar to what Uma said. When 25 years back or 30 years back, when you're talking about a journey in computing, we were not really mindful of the extent of revolution that knowledge of computing will create for job opportunities. And I think exactly something similar is happening right now in the area of green energy. If I have to look at any rural landscape, and that landscape could be India, that landscape could be Africa, that landscape could be South America or Southeast Asia, after harvesting, and harvesting will happen as long as humans live because we will grow food. And then we will leave waste on the soil. This waste is capable of generating energy. In India itself, 235 million metric tons of waste gets left behind on the fields, and that is capable of creating energy equivalent to 600 million barrels of crude oil. Now, how do you do that? And that is going to require humongous industrialization in rural areas. This could mean maybe creating 25,000 bioenergy business in 10 to 15 states out of India. These 25,000 businesses could generate 500,000 jobs. What would be the type of jobs? They will include combination of mechanization, logistics, warehousing, refining, understanding green fuels, understanding replacement of fossil fuels by green fuels. Very, very importantly, a lot of these technologies will result in carbon capture. This carbon capture would probably result in aids which would result in helping you refurbish degraded land through recarbonizing degraded lands. Now, understanding the subject, becoming experts in this subject, making sure that this becomes a practice which not only creates jobs in new energy, but creates livelihood in rural areas and transforms the rural areas is an opportunity which is driven by bioenergy. I mean, just happy to share with you that our company, which is currently involved in the business of creating circular economy driven transformation this year, is moved something like 500,000 metric tons of biomass, has replaced equivalent quantum of coal for the industry, has connected 50,000 farmers to bioenergy economy, and have created close to $20 million worth of value for the rural businesses. Now, this is just a starting step. And using transformative techniques and technologies which are available to us, we as a generation, and I probably belong to more to Pradeep's generation than the generation which is sitting in front of me, I think have an opportunity and have a responsibility to move towards cleaner and greener environment, cleaner and greener energy, and probably take prosperity to rural India, prosperity to rural parts of the world. I think that's the opportunity and the job creation that one could be talking about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Suhas. It was wonderful. Suhas talked about the energy in the room, and he talked about renewable energy that he's working on. Suhas, this energy in the room is also renewable. So you just can be assured, because in fact it energizes itself by working with each other. Thank you so much. And I think the opportunities, we talk about opportunities, what seems to be 60% of population is in rural India, and you can't transport many things you have to give. So I think it's a very, very circular economy in rural India is a great thing. And finally, you're giving livelihood, but you're actually transforming the rural landscape. It's just for every job, livelihood you're giving, you're changing the character, the profile of the thing. And I think that's the benefit that comes out. Thank you, Suhas, for bringing a totally new perspective. We sit in a city called PCMC, and we have a metro close by. So we influenced by our urban ambience, but the world doesn't stop here, and I think it was important to get this perspective. So now we got a interesting person, 2 decades in hardcore consultancy, and these consultants know everything about the world, worldly wise, they tell others what to do. But here's this young man who chose to get on to a more exciting game of gaming. He knows what games people play, right? And in that sense, the digitization. So Girish, floor is yours. Tell us, because you would be, I intentionally made you the last one because you can excite these people like collectively all of us put together want about the new age. Floor is yours, your 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Thank you. Sorry. Very interesting to hear the word young man from you, but I guess it's all relative. Maybe this side this way, but this way there's a big difference. But thank you so much. And just at the outset, I wanted to say that it's the first time I've been participating in an initiative like this, and I have to say some of the things that I've heard today are absolutely brilliant. The videos that I saw of what happened yesterday and today, and the world over, it's amazing to see this. And more importantly, the passion that I was able to witness through this is mind-boggling, right? And I think that's what's really exciting. When we talk about working with the youth and partnering with the youth, I think that passion and excitement is what really drives everything, right? So just to give you context, I'm Girish Menon. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at Jet Synthsys. And Jet Synthsys, if I were to give very simple definition, it's a technology driven company focused on entertainment, right? But that's really not how we look at our business, right? When we started to, create and build Jet Synthesys over the last few years, more than the business, our focus was on the demography. Who are we serving? Who are we trying to build for? And very early on, we made a very clear decision that everything we do would revolve around the youth, right? Now, we use different terminologies, Gen Z, Gen Y, doesn't matter, right? But to simplify things, 15 to 30, stretching it 35 years, age group is the audience that we try to serve, right? Now, when we looked at this audience and we tried to focus on what is it that we could build a business around these audiences, we focused on fundamentally 3 pillars because this is what we felt was driving, passion and consumption for the youth when it came to, entertainment, right? So we decided on gaming and esports, we decided on sports, and we decided on what today is loosely termed as the creator economy, right? And all of these opportunities have really, come up in India over the last, realistically speaking, 10 years, right? It's not that gaming, for example, globally is maybe a 50, 60-year-old phenomenon. It's not that people didn't, when I was young, I gamed, right? But very different to what it is and the scale it is happening right now. Same with when I look at esports, same when I look at consumption, right? Consumption moving towards digital at a mass scale has changed everything, right? So I think that's how we sort of therefore try to focus on creating our businesses. And when I look at that, I want to focus on 2 pillars, right? And this is particularly in the context of what we're talking about today in terms of opportunities for youth, right? So I want to narrow this conversation down to 2 fundamental things. One is technology-driven traditional opportunities, and it's a little oxymoron using the word traditional with a segment like gaming and esports and digital economy. But what I really mean is traditionally, what are the kind of opportunities that were there? It was fundamentally about companies, studios, individuals looking to build products, build games. So in that sense, not very different from an IT company, right, where you're trying to create a technology product. The only difference has always been that gaming is a techno-creative thing, so there's a whole large element of creativity involved in the technology. But at the end of it, traditionally, that was what most of the businesses were doing, right? Either making games yourself or serving global studios, and providing, services there. But what has changed in the last 10 years is what I try to think of it as democratization of opportunity in this space, right? So gaming has become so large in India, right? And this was always the case globally, but more in India now, is that gaming has now become a career. So you can play a game and earn money, right? Because what has fundamentally changed the trajectory of this is what we call esports, right? Esports is what? Any game that is played competitively between 2 people for a certain amount of outcome is sport, right? That is what sport is. This is virtually played, this is esports, right? And as esports has evolved, people have realized that there is value in skill development, in getting better and better at what you do, like any other sport. But more importantly, like in any other sport, there are people who want to watch you play, right? That was the game changer, because you can play as much as you want, but if nobody is watching you, there is no business in it, right? That has changed. So now there is the very large community opportunity that has got built up where as a gamer, you can aspire to be the best gamer out there and actually make a career out of it, right? That's one part. And the second part is because there are people watching, right? That career takes different trajectories, right? You could be a gamer, play in competitions and win prizes, and that becomes your career trajectory. Because people are watching you, you are now famous. Brands will come to you and say, okay, why don't you advertise for me, right? That's an opportunity. But more importantly, and that's where democratization opportunity comes, right? Because you've got a whole host of digital platforms out there, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitch globally, people are creating content around gaming, right? Creating content around a whole bunch of other things. We use the word influencers, right? What are they? They are self-created content being put out there. And people are watching, and therefore brands are willing to pay, right? And I think that opportunity to me is amazing, because it puts the power away from organizations into the hands of individuals, right? Number one. Number two, it creates an opportunity for people to make careers out of what they love doing, right? And the beauty is that once you're in the space, what you do can evolve, right? So at 18, I may be a gamer. At 20, I may be part of an esports team. Maybe at 22, 23, I'm an influencer. By 25, I'm a game developer. I've started my own game. I'm working with somebody, or I am part of an organization managing esports athletes, right? So I think that's what, to me, is exciting. And I come back to that point I made about democratization of opportunity. What technology, digital has done for this domain is created that opportunity where anybody, right, can actually look to create something for themselves. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and I just want to be, I use the word that all of you are renewable energy, but you also need charging. And I think sports, gaming can be your charging plug, so you could do. So here's an opportunity. Second thing which Girish brought out, that it takes out the creative juices in you. And I think anybody who's getting onto has a creative besides a career, so that's yet another opportunity. But I'm a little worried here. If everybody takes gaming as a career, kaam kaun karega? I mean, somebody has to get out and do something. So
gaming hi kaam hai.
I know, but hospitals have to be run by somebody, and the transport, but somebody has to do like the thing. I hope it is, of course, democratization, but in democracy we need others also. Thank you so much, Girish. A very, very wonderful perspective. So children, excellent, wonderful. Now, floor is yours. My suggestion would be, ask who your target is. And I'm getting out of the target range, but no, what I'm saying, ask a very specific question, and we'll have the opportunity of having the thing, but you can capture the thoughts of them. Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, also, I don't think that everybody will get into gaming just because it is democratized, because I don't really enjoy gaming that much, but I have a lot of friends who are actually earning from gaming, and I used to not understand why they enjoy so much, but now that you've put it this way, I understand, and I got a perspective, so thank you for that. Also, yeah, I would just like to mention that age kept coming in between, but when I met you, Pradeep, I remember that on that round table, you were saying something along the lines where you were like, if they are not responding to this, if the youth is not responding to this, then maybe we need to listen to them and understand that they don't want this. And you were the person who I was able to relate with the most. So really, I don't think that age is an issue. My question is that a topic we youth discuss quite a lot is internships. Because we need experience, and without experience, companies don't give us jobs. Especially in our context, it takes a certain amount of economic privilege to be able to take up an unpaid internship, which is the case in India right now. And as a law graduate, I know that lawyers are offered internships in the name of experience, but are never paid enough, which is why we don't get opportunities where we can just go and have an internship outside of our state even. So what are your take on this? Anyone who's interested in hiring?
I'll take the liberty, sorry, but you can. It is true that interns are treated as sometimes uninvited, sometimes unwanted, because somebody has said, I take intern. But believe me, and I've seen this in organization, just the way you go to a college to learn, you pay the fee. Thank God these guys are not asking you to pay them for giving you the internship. Treat this as a continuation of your education. Believe me, you'll learn, including this attitude that employers have towards you is a learning for you. So just just be absolutely clear, you're going there for learning, and money is important, but just keep it in mind that you're learning. And employers have been very hard. Yeah, sorry. Any thoughts?
And just the second part of that is that what kind of ideal workplace situation you think of?
I just want to add to what Pradeep mentioned. So, just for your information and for others here from India, Government of India has announced an internship program where those who are, whose family income is less than 2.5 lakh rupees per annum, and if their parents are not in the government service, they can apply for these internships and they can get paid on an average around 4,500 or 5,000 rupees per month. And several organizations have been more or less mandated to actually look at supporting such individuals for internship opportunities. So I just thought that might be of interest to a lot of our young friends from Lighthouse Communities Foundation.
I've just received a message that we have only a minute left. So maybe, Kshitij, you could ask a question and my other panelists to answer. I want to honor the question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my next question to the all panelists is that how does the mentorship has played a vital role in your life? And we often as a youngsters play a very challenging that it has been my personal experience that as a youth from the underprivileged background that we met so many peoples when you are searching around to whom we should listen and coming across the various perspectives and their opinions and I come across several people who told us that do this and do this and do this. But I would like to know more about from your experience that how does the mentorship and how a mentors has played a vital role in your life and how can youngsters like us find a great mentors?
Maybe I'll use this. Thank you. I think, probably the answer is in your question itself. Mentorship does play a very, very solid role throughout your life. Not just at the start of your career, but throughout your life. Being in a position to identify where can you learn from, what can you learn, be a great student throughout your life is something which everybody needs to do. So keep your eyes and ears open, not just for mentors, but all type of learning. And I think that's what will take you forward.
So, sorry, we'll take the last question from you and maybe Girish can answer or whichever. Huh?
Yeah, no, I don't have any.
Okay. Girish, you want to respond
Why
to?
don't I just answer your point on the, the previous one that you just mentioned about internship, right? I think 2 points I would just very quickly make. One is, like Pradeep said, it is an extension of learning, and I identify with that because when I did my consulting, 3-4 years of internship I had gone through, right? But I think what needs to change a little bit, right, somewhere is, and this will not work everywhere, in certain organizations, certain opportunities it might come up, is where you need to look long enough and change the way the industry works, right? We've tried to do that, again, so for example, in sports, in cricket, right? Today, for anybody who wants to play for a club, they have to pay money to the club. It's literally the hard yards you do before you can play for professional, right? What we realized is we'll have to change that because if you want sports people to get better at what they do, they have to be dedicated to sports. So the club that we have, we've actually changed it around. We pay money to the players so that all they have to do is focus only on playing cricket. So that's the sometimes you do need to do a shift, but it works well in certain situations, may not necessarily be applying everywhere.
Okay, I need to be impolite. The signals are there, they might physically drag us off the stage. So thanks very much, the time is up for us. Appreciate your good. Thank you very much.